Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the show, Hidden Secrets in Books. You guys know I only bring the best of the best guests to the show, the top 1% of guests to the show. And today we are joined with a Jordanian American author and communications professional based in Washington, D.C., with over 20 years of experience in journalism, writing, and digital media strategy. She's the founder of Suburban Media Group, a contributor to major global publications, including the Washington Post, Nature, Elle, and Esquire, and the author of a speculative novel, They Called Me Wyatt. She's also the host. She also hosts the podcast Read and Write with Natasha. Natasha, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Glad to be here.
Thank you very much. Can you please introduce yourself to my listeners?
Present myself, yeah, sure. So I'm a Jordanian American author and a journalist, and I run a small media boutique called Suburban Media Group, where I help people finish their books through ghostwriting or book coaching. And I also write my own novels. So as you mentioned, I have two novels and one children's book. And I'm very active on Substack. I like to run interviews with authors and with Substack writers. And I also run my own podcast called Read and Write with Natasha, where I talk to authors and publishers.
Thank you very much, Natasha. So let's get started on the show. I have some questions here for you.
Sure, yeah.
Where are you originally from, and how has that shaped your perspective as a writer and communications professional?
Yeah, sure. I was born in Amman, Jordan, in the Middle East, and but I moved to the U.S. 21 years ago. So definitely, growing up in Amman, at least during the formative years, played a major role in shaping my writing. So most of my books here, as you can see, they have a lot of themes about growing up in the Middle East, and especially as a woman growing up in the Middle East. And those themes keep appearing. It's because just I grew up there, and my formative years were in Amman, Jordan. So it doesn't leave me.
Thank you very much, Natasha. Natasha, can you tell us about your book? They Called Me Wyatt. What is it about and what inspired it?
Yeah, so that was the first novel, and it's speculative fiction, and it started with it starts the first page, so it's not a spoiler. It's a woman gets killed, and she wakes up in the body of 3-year-old boy. So that basically she's reincarnated, and she is in his head, and so we hear her from her perspective while she's in the head of the 3-year-old boy, and she tries to solve her own murder, but it's hard for her to do so because she is in the body of a 3-year-old boy. So and then the boy grows up, and he finds out about the murder that happened 25 years ago, and he gets obsessed with that murder, and he wants to doesn't know why, and he wants to solve the murder.
Thank you very much, Natasha. What are some of the biggest challenges you face when it comes to publishing your book?
I think publishing the book is not the challenge. I mean, I think writing is the challenge as well, because you want to have the time and the discipline to write that. And I run my business, and I have 3 kids, so time is always an issue for me. And I try to write in the morning, but sometimes life happens. But again, it's also marketing the book. It's always writing might be the easy part, but convincing people to buy your book is always a challenge. I'm lucky, because I have a big audience and they support me, but at the same time, it's always hard to sell your books.
Thank you very much, Natasha. From your perspective, what is the current state of journalism in the Middle East today?
Uh, well, journalism has been hurting everywhere, not only in the Middle East, because newspapers are, downsizing or shutting down. Journalists are losing their jobs. And also because the media consumption has changed quite a lot, especially among the younger generations and Gen Z. So they're no longer getting their news from media outlets, but they're depending on social media and WhatsApp groups and others. So the challenge, there's many challenges. One is how you can keep up with the social media trends so that you can reach this audience as a journalist. And two, independent journalism. If you want to start on your own and start your own platform and going on Substack and others, it's exciting, but it's also how to monetize it. It's still always hard, not only in the Middle East but everywhere. And another issue in the Middle East as well is safety. There's a number of journalists have been killed, like for example in Gaza. It's been like the highest number of journalists killed, I think, ever in a conflict. And another thing is the censorship. Many Middle Eastern countries still enforce censorship, and some journalists can go to jail or face, consequences for what they write. Because the concept of like the how in the U.S. there is the First Amendment, that does not apply in many countries in the Middle East. So there's always the risk of you being thrown in jail for what you say.
Thank you very much, Natasha. Here's my next question for you. What advice do you give to aspiring who are trying to break into writing or publishing?
I think the first thing is you have to change your mindset and realize if you want to do it, you can do it. Nothing will stop you. And whatever the voices in your head tells you you're not good enough, you cannot do this, you have to control those voices in your head. And then just be disciplined and treat your writing as a job, not only as a hobby. And when you do that, you'll just show up every time and you write and you produce. And don't depend on inspiration or motivation, because that would not last. You can be motivated one day and the other you're not. You just have to depend on discipline and not on motivation.
Thank you very much, Natasha. So let's get on with it. Who were some of your biggest influences growing up or early in your career?
Influences. I read a lot, and I like a number of authors that I enjoy their books. I like Elif Shafak, who's a Turkish author. I like her way of writing. I also like Jhumpa Lahiri, who's an Indian American author. I like how she tells stories about families. Other authors, I mean, I like Junot Diaz, another his American author, who's I think also his parents are immigrant from the Dominican Republic, so he always writes about like growing up like in the Spanish-speaking part of the U.S. in the Hispanic community, and I like the way he writes, his wit, his humor. I like also John Green, young adult, and I like how the way he writes his books. Although it's also for young adults, but he's a very good author. I enjoy his writing.
Thank you very much, Natasha. What is your personal favorite book, and why has it stayed with you?
I like The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins because it starts with a journalist who's trying to write the memoir or the biography of a Hollywood star. And so, how she unravels kind of the secrets of her life, and we understand why she took the actions that she had to take. And for me, I just loved how the story was played out, how we expected one thing and we ended up with one thing. I liked the writing style, and the whole arc of the novel, and it's just beautifully written. It's about relationships, about love, it's about career choices. It's a wonderful book.
Thank you very much. So, when it comes to publishing, what are the key difference between self-publishing and traditional publishing in your own experience?
Yeah, I mean, I had a publisher for my first book. I actually had two, but eventually I took my rights and decided to self-publish. I feel I have more control over the books, where I want to sell them, the prices, the cover. So I wanted that control, and now I run my own imprint. So I also publish other people's books, like some of my clients' books. So I am now all for self-publishing, and I've been doing it for a while, and I'm just comfortable with it now. And you know, I might consider a traditional publisher, but for the time being, I'm self-publishing.
Thank you very much, Natasha. So, how do you personally find time to write while managing your agency and media work?
Yeah, that's a big challenge, and for me is I try to write in the morning. I think that's the best time, like early. So I remember when I had a full time job, and I used to commute to DC, like to downtown DC, and I used just to wake up at 6 and start writing at 6 before anyone wakes up. So that's the time the only time I had. So you just have to squeeze it in, and you have to commit to it.
Okay, thank you very much. I know that writing requires consistency. How have you built and maintained a writing habit over the years?
How often?
How have you built and maintained a writing habit over the years?
How did I maintain my writing habits? It's honestly, it ebbs and flows. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. And with having like a big family and responsibilities, sometimes it's hard. But I think the best trick I would say is try to block a time in the calendar. And when you block a time in the calendar, you know that nobody can book a meeting with you. Nobody, you know that this is time is dedicated. So I would say just book a time in the calendar and try to stick to it.
Thank you very much, Natasha. Thank you for being my guest on this special episode. Thank you for making this episode a very special one as well. So before you go, I can see some of your books behind you, some of your work behind you. I
Yes.
want you to talk about how the audience can connect with you and get in touch and with your book as well.
Yeah, sure. So you can go to my website, natashatynes.com, and that's where I list my books, and you can get in touch with me. And also, you see about my other services like ghostwriting and book coaching. I also have some stuff for free that you can grab there. And I have like a free short story as well you can read. But I'm also active on Substack, natashatynes.substack.com. You can email me at natasha@natashatynes.com. My books are on Amazon. I'm on social media. I'm pretty much everywhere. I'm hard to miss.
Thank you very much once again. Thank you for being my guest on this special episode. Today, with our guest, we explored writing, journalism, and the realities of publishing across traditional and self-publishing paths. The key takeaway is this: consistency is what turns writing into a long-term craft. Until next time, see you guys again on another episode. Bye, guys. Thank you,
Bye. Thank you
Natasha.
for having me. Thank you. Bye bye.